2 Samuel chapter 4, Ishbosheth is murdered. When Saul's son Ishbosheth, king of Israel, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost courage, and all Israel was horrified. Saul's son had two men who were commanders of raiding bands of soldiers. One was named Baanah, and the other Rechab. The sons of Rimeon, the Beerothite of his sons of Benjamin, is also considered part of the tribe of Benjamin. And the Beerothites fled to Gittim and had been resident aliens there to this day. Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son whose feet was crippled. He was 5 years old when the news of the deaths of Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel, and the boy's nurse picked him up and fled. But it happened that while she was hurrying to flee, he fell and became lame. His name was Mephibosheth. So the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite, all the people left and came to the house of Ishbosheth in the heat of the day while he was taking his midday rest. They came into the interior of the house as if to get wheat for the soldiers, and they struck him in the stomach. Then Rechab and Baanah and his brothers escaped unnoticed. Now when they entered the house, he was lying on his bed in his bedroom. They not only struck and killed him, but they also beheaded him. And they took his head and traveled all the way by way of the Arabah. They brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron and said to the king, "Look, the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, your enemy, who sought your life. Thus the Lord has granted the Lord the king vengeance this day on the Saul and on his descendants." David replied to Rechab and Baanah his brother, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said to them, "As the Lord lives, who has redeemed my life from every adversity. When a man told me, 'Behold, Saul is dead,' thinking that he was bringing good news, I realized I seized and killed him in Ziklag to reward him for the news. How much more, when wicked men have killed a righteous and just man in his own house on his bed, shall I not require his blood from your hands and remove you from the earth?" So they're going through, and it says Ishbosheth was Jonathan's brother. Whether or not they looked alike, David had no desire to have the head of his beloved friend's brother brought to him as a prize. Once again, greed for a reward overcame prudence, and the plotters lost their lives on their own testimony. It says, once again, David was faced with the question, who is going to establish his kingdom? In David's mind, the answer could only be God. David wanted to meet his adversary honestly on the field of a battle or over a flag of truce, but he would have nothing to do with murder. There was another compelling reason for David to conduct himself honorably. David was closely associated with Ishbosheth as the brother of his wife and of his best friends, and he did not find it easy to be at war with him. Ishbosheth had accepted what he considered to be a rightful role as the next king after his father Saul. Apparently, even in David's mind, Ishbosheth's supposition was reasonable. Interesting, getting a little insight there. So David commanded his young men, and they killed them and cut off their hands and feet and hung them beside the pool in Hebron. But they took Ishbosheth's head and buried it in Hebron in the tomb of Abner, his relative. Lots of good little insight and reading here. So this is your daily Bible chapter reading God's Word Monday through Friday. See you tomorrow.